Hey everybody, welcome back. So let's get started with the update this week. Okay. I already showed you this one. What I just did extra was just add the regular graphite pencil on top of the blue and red artwork. And this is a new one. This one we have here like an evil sorcerer attacking Yusuf with a magic spell. He has like a fireball charm that he's throwing from a necklace, and he has his henchmen, which are a bunch of gnolls attacking as well. It was like a surprise ambush. And what else I got on here? Oh, in the last one, it's just again the sorcerer after he was defeated, escaping through his portal. He's like a scared look on his face because he got defeated, so he's running away from the heroes. So only got a couple on that one. We got a few more on the regular sketchbook. For these again, remember I have to paint those in watercolor. And this one I just ink it. But I didn't do any inking for this week. I just added a few more sketches here. The first one is the witch letting loose a bunch of goblins and bugbears from their kennel where they're kept, because the goblins in the story, they're like a really kind of like very animal like, so they keep them in the kennel guarded by the bugbears. So she's letting them loose to go after the players, the characters. Now this one here is kind of hard to tell, but it's like a hallway trap that it's actually not even a real trap, it's actually like a fake trap, but it's to slow down the characters when they try to bypass it or try to disarm the trap, so that the goblins and the gnolls can ambush them. So that's a depiction here. There's like a bunch of strings tied to these saw blades and like a bunch of wind chimes here. So when the characters go in, they're like, oh, we gotta disarm that, so otherwise we'll get cut by the saw blades. But it's actually like a fake trap. And here again is the witch Larith with her army of these are all the bugbears up front. They're ready to ambush the heroes from the rear. The kobold sorcerer is attacking at the front with the gnolls. In this one I won't say. This is the last image. So all of these I have to ink. Let this be clear, this is a spoiler section. If you don't want to hear what the story is for part 6, just go ahead and stop the video now. Alright, so here we go. So this is part 6. I just finished the actual story for it, and I haven't done the rhymes for it yet. Now, if you're not sure how I do this, like how I do the actual storytelling, basically it's based on the game that I did. I said this before, but I'll just say it again, just in case you missed it. It's based on a D&D game that I played last year for about 6 months. The campaign lasted from like midsummer, maybe early summer, to about October or November. And it's the campaign was basically just a bunch of killing and stuff like that. And we had like a bunch of people. It was in a public place. We did it in a coffee house, and we let people drop in and drop out all the time. We had a core group of players, but if somebody said, hey, what's going on, because we posted the sessions on Meetup, so we let people come in and come out all the time. And because somebody asked me on my story, goes, wow, you let a lot of people die in here. So what actually is happening is, I kind of got, when I explained it to him though, I got confused with another campaign he did. But what was actually happening is, none of the characters really actually died in the story. They were just people that did, just dropped in and dropped out. Maybe a few of them just did one session, and there were quite a little bit more that actually did like a few more sessions. but the core group of people stay like through ends. In the story, when I'm writing the story for this, I just said, you know what, that person only played for like 1 game, 2 games. Let's just write up a section where he actually died. Because normally what happens in D&D 5th edition, you as long as you're like pretty careful and most of the party survives till the end, you can actually just heal them, and so nobody really actually dies in the game, unless like they fail, they did horrible, like nobody could get to them during the battle. It was like a long battle. Oh, real quick, most of the game was combat, so there wasn't really a lot of storytelling in games. I kind of took the basic plot and story of the game and what actually happened in the events, and then added like a little bit more drama and stuff to it. So it's still based on the actual gameplay, but I just added more details to the story, because a lot of it I actually forgot what happened too. Well, I did take some notes too, but like all the small minor details, like what actually happened during combat and stuff like that, I just kind of embellished what actually was there. With that said, let me show you what I have for session 6. So you see here it says June 24, so this is like way, last summer already. So what I have here is the party. Remember, they were in the dungeon of Lareth the Witch, and I believe they were just sent there from the mayor from Wheelborough to find just to go there and just loot the treasure. Lareth, at the beginning of this portion, we have Lareth contacting V'ger, which is the main enemy. He's the kobold sorcerer, talking about they want the dragon's eye, which is the gem that my character Yusuf has, and they want to get it from him. We have her, Lareth, teleporting to the, let's see what I have here. Yeah, so she casts a spell on the door so that non-magical, or so that magical beings wouldn't be able to open it. And what the next portion is, let's see. Yeah, and then she hid behind the door waiting to see if they don't get through. So, and then when the characters reach the door, all the intelligent people like Emerald and Rashana tried to open the door, and I believe they were cursed. So then I have like Lareth I have Lareth laughing to herself, that she hexed all the party members. But we have the new character Harold, which is a dumb barbarian, so he just opened the door and nothing happened to him. Yeah, then Harold calls the others that I actually opened the door. Then he yells for Lareth, because he's actually Harold's mission is to free his clan members that were taken to the mines to mine for ley stones, which are like the powerful stones, the gems that create the ley lines. Because the villain V'ger, they're actually mining all these stones to create like we don't know his actual true purpose, but he's using that, he's gathering all these things to get more power. So while the others went back to the door, since Harold opened it, and then Harold calls out Lareth. Eugene, the scout, he heads the other way, because this character in real life, the character that plays it, he's always like just doing his own thing. It's like, although like normally like a scout should like scouting for your party, he wasn't really cared about. He didn't really care about the party dynamics. He was just in there to find cool stuff for himself. So he was always off on his own. He looks for, he just goes somewhere else. And the rest of us, they end up into the statue room with a large gem in the eyes, and there was also like a pool in there. So Lareth, she actually, when the characters went through Lareth hid behind the statue and cast some spells on the statue, and then also the pool to curse them. So my character goes in there, and she's like this, because he's really he's really like all like gems and stuff. He's like really into it because he's a thief. Well, he's a rogue, but he's a beggar prince, so he's always like into the jewelry. So he goes there and tries to pry out the eye on the statue, and he disappears. And then the other characters, Adrian and Emerald, sees him do that. They saw him do that, and they notice like, whoa, what happened? So they try to examine the eye, and they touched it, and they also disappeared. So now they're like in the eye. The eye was actually is a gem. Their inside is like, hey, we're stuck in here, and the other characters don't know what's happening. Like they weren't actually paying attention because everybody was just like exploring and looking for stuff. So they in real life they didn't even really notice that the other characters were gone. Oh yeah, and then the dragon, because the gem I had, remember I said it's called the dragon's eye, and that's the actual gem that the evil kobold wants. So he communicates saying, hey, you guys, you need if you want to get out of here, make a deal with me. They talk to Flame Tongue, which is the name of the dragon. That at the very beginning of the story we said that Flame Tongue actually died. So he was killed by some other adventurers, but he actually just, when he died, his essence was transferred into the gem, and that's why he's able to communicate with our characters now, because my character is holding the eye of the dragon. So we make a deal with him, say like, if you guys want to get out of here, make a deal with me, serve me for a year, and we'll set you free. So we agree with him, but Emerald, his character, as one of the backstory for him is that his mortal enemy was dragons. So he wasn't really like all into that. He goes, wait a second, my character is like my enemy's the dragon. So he didn't want to agree to that. So back to the other, while they're dealing with that, the other characters, we have Stormeye, the pirate cleric. He saw the pool, he noticed it was a healing pool, and then he goes in and tries to get himself healed, but then it was actually cursed from there earlier. So it tries, like he almost gets drowned in the pool, he couldn't get out. Thankfully he used the spell Gust of Wind to shoot him out of the water. And then back to our characters again. Adrian and myself, we tell Emerald, like, wait a second, like, what about the keep your friends closer, your enemies closer? Maybe you can say you're dealing with him, but you can like turn against him afterwards. So okay, so I'll agree to it. So he agreed, and then the dragon teleported us out of the gem, so we're back in the room again. Well, now he actually agreed to. We told him that we're gonna the V'ger, the kobold, was actually after the gem, so if we're gonna help you, you should if you don't want your gem, you yourself, to be taken by them to use for their own purposes, you better help us as well. So that was the agreement. Back to Eugene, the scout that's wandering off. So he goes and finds like a kennel full of goblins and stuff and bugbears, and he opens it and he sees them, and then he immediately shuts it and he slams it with he puts something to close the door. So he runs back to us like, wait, there's a bunch of baddies over there, and we tell him like let's ignore that and let's go up these steps. But the steps were like, they're trapped. Like if you try to go up them, they'll straighten out, and then you'll fall down. You won't be able to scale the steps because they're like super slippery. But Stormeye, no, it wasn't Stormeye, it was Emerald. He found like one of the columns for the torches. There was actually it was like a lever, so if you stick something in there, so we used Stormeye's maul to crank it, and then it opened the stairs, so we were able to climb up. And so we're about to go up. I think Eugene came back with us, and then at this point, then V'ger, the kobold sorcerer, that he teleports to the dungeon, because I guess at the beginning I forgot to mention that I have like Lareth and V'ger communicating with each other, and they were kind of like mad against each other that you need to help me out here, which Lareth said. So now V'ger's teleported to the dungeon with some gnolls to ambush us. When we left the cursed room, Lareth went back to the room with the goblins and the bugbears and released them. So now she said, get the gem for me. Now, because also V'ger wants the gem for himself, because they both want the dragon's eye gem for themselves, for them to get power. Who knows? They might be doing the same thing to get power, or something else. But basically, you know, if you have the gem with the dragon's essence in there, you know, that's like really powerful. So they both want them, even though Lareth makes it seem like she's actually working for V'ger. She wants it for herself, for her own power. So we find ourselves in that trapped hallway with the saw blade attacks, the saw blades trap. So it's actually not a real trap. It's just a way to slow down the party, so that, you know, they try to figure out what's going on. So while we were figuring out what was going on with the traps, V'ger and his nose attack, and he has like a fireball necklace that he threw at us. So we were attacked by them, and then we had to fall back. But then Lareth came from the rear with the goblins that attacked us as well. So then we called upon Flametongue the dragon to help us. So Flametongue gave some special powers, or additional, more like power ups to myself, Yusuf, Imral, and Adrian. So we were able to attack Lareth's side and defeat them. And then Imral used his Hunter's Mark spell, or I guess not a spell, but, you know, his ability to fire an arrow at Lareth, and she was killed by the arrow. And I had her like melting, like, kind of like Wizard of Oz. She basically like melts to the ground. And so all her side, like the goblins and bugbears, fled in terror. And then our side was able to concentrate on the front side with V'ger and the Knowles attack. So we repelled them, and then V'ger got scared that we were defeating him. So he stumbled back and then fell back into the portal, and then taunted us, like, well, I'll get you guys next time, you know, how evil villains do that. He returned back to the portal, and his portal disappeared, so his Knolls were still there, so we had to defeat the Knolls. Yeah, and that was the end of that dungeon. We defeated, and then we looted the rest of the treasure, and then returned back to Wheelborough. And remember, we were kind of driven out of the town Wheelborough, but we came back with treasure and told them that, you know, or actually we just gave some of the coins to them, so they'll let us back in. And that's the end of the adventure. So, for session 6, we made our way back to Wheelborough. From there, we'll talk to the mayor again and see what other quest he has for us. All right, that's it for the update. Until next time, bye.